Sorry about the delay there, a slight technical hitch as the web or the internet kind of decided to pack up a little bit. Never mind. Here we go then. So now we go on to Act 1. And now the whole of Act 2 is basically just after we now know in Act 1 that Romeo has met Juliet. This is now all just about the meeting, the getting together, and then culminating in the wedding at the end in true Shakespearean comedic style. So now we go to Act 2 and Scene 1, where Romeo is alone, and then Benvolio and Mercutio come along, and they're just looking for him. So Romeo, can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, dull earth, and find thy centre out. Enter Benvolio and Mercutio, who don't know where he is. Romeo, my cousin Romeo, Romeo. He is wise, and on my life have stolen him to bed. He ran this way and leapt this orchard wall. Call, good Mercutio. Nay, I'll conjure to. Romeo, humor's madman, passion lover, appear thou in the likeness of a sigh. Speak but one rhyme, and I am satisfied. Cry, but I me pronounce but love and dove. Speak to my gossip, Venus, one fair word, one nickname for her purblind son and heir. Young Abraham Cupid, he that shot so true. And now we have another technical hitch. Come on. Oh, for pity's sake. Life here, folks. Okay. When King Clothigio loved the beggar maid, he heareth not, he stirreth not, he moved not. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh. And the domains that there adjacent lie, that in thy likeness thou appear to us. And if he hear thee, thou wilt anger him. This cannot anger him. 'Twould enganger him to raise a spirit in his mistress's circle of some strange nature, letting it there stand till she had laid it and conjured it down. That was some spite. My invocation is fair and honest, and in thy mistress's name I conjure only to raise up him. Come, he hath hid himself among these trees to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark. If love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Now will he sit under a medlar tree and wish his mistresses were that kind of fruit as maids call medlars when they laugh alone. Oh, Romeo, that she were, oh, that she were. An arse, and now a pouring pair. Romeo, good night. I'll go to my truckle bed. This filled bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go? Oh, go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him here. That means not to be found. Exit Benvolio and Mercutio. Romeo. He jests at stars that never felt a wound. Kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and no one but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eyes discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. It is not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shine those stars as daylight doth a lamp, her eye in heaven, but through the airy region streams so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek. Ay me! She speaks. Oh, speak, that angel, for thou art glorious to this night, being o'er my head, yes, a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned wandering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him, when he bestrides the lazy puffing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou not be but scorn on thy love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. Shall I hear more, or shall I speak of this? 'Tis but thy name that is me, thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. Oh, what's in a name? That which we call rose, any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he was without that title. Romeo doth thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I be new baptized. Henceforth I never will be Romeo. What man art thou that dost bescreen in nights to stumblest on my counsel? By name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word. My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague? Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike. How canst thou hither tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place deaf, considering who thou art. If any of my kinsmen find thee here, with love's light wings did I overperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me. If they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. I would not for the world they saw here there. I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued, wanting of thy love. By whose direction foundst thou this place? By love that first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea, I should adventure for such merchandise. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else the maiden blush be paint my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight, fain would I dwell on form, fain deny. What have I spoke? But farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou would say aye, and I will take thy word, yet if thou swearest, thou mayst prove falsehood. Lovers' perjuries, they say Jove laughs. O gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or if thou thinkst I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse and say thee nay. So thou wilt woo, but else not for the world. In truth, fair mind, trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more coying to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but thou overheardest, I was ware by true love's passion. Therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night have so discovered. Lady, by yonder blessed moon I vow that tips with silver all these fruit tree troughs. Oh, swear not by the moon, the constant moon, that monthly changes in her circlet orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. What shall I swear by? Do not swear at all, or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee. If my heart's dear love, oh, no, do not swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy at this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning, which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love by summer's ripening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night. Good night, as sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast. Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? What satisfaction canst thou have tonight? The exchange for thy love's faithful vow for mine. I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose? Love? But to be frank and give it thee again, and yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my lover's deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Juliet, anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little, I will come again. Oh, blessed night, I am afeard. Being in night, all this is but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial. 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that will I procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite. And all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Madam! I come anon, but if thou mean'st not well, I do beseech thee, madam! By and by I come! Oh. To cease thy strife and leave me to my grief, tomorrow will I send, so thrive my soul. 1,000 times good night. 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love towards school with heavy looks. Romeo hissed, oh, for a Faulkner voice to lure this tassel gently back again. Bondage is hoarse and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetitions of my Romeo. It is my soul that calls upon thy name. How silver sweet sounded lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attended ears. Romeo, mine yes. What o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee? By the hour of 9. I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back. Let me stand here till thou remember it. I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company. And I still stay to have thee still forgetting any other home but this. 'Tis almost morning, I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton's bird, but let it hop a little from his hands like a poor prisoner in his twinted gyves, and with a silken thread plucks it back again, so loving jealousy of his liberty. Oh, I would I thy bird, sweet, so would I. Yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. The parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow. Juliet goes. Romeo. Sleep, dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace so sweet to rest. The grey eye morn smiles on the frowning night, comes later. Hence I will to my ghostly friar's cell, his help to crave and my dear hap to tell. Boy. Now we come to Act 2 and Scene 2, where Romeo meets Friar Lawrence. Now, this is a very interesting scene because the entire scene is done in rhyming couplets, and there's kind of much for how you should actually perform rhyming couplets. It's actually quite a tricky one, but my own sense is that they're there, use them, whereas I think the modern approach now is to be aware of them but not to sort of play them up. But I just tend to go where the language takes me, so you'll have to bear with me if it's not quite to your tastes. Now, enter Friar Lawrence alone with a basket. The grey-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and flecked darkness like a drunkard will from fourth day's path and Titan's fiery wheels. Now ere the sun advance his burning eye, the day to cheer, and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth that stage is her tomb. What is her bearing grave? That is her womb. And from her womb children of diverse kind we sucking on her natural bosom find. Many for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Oh, mickle is the powerful grace that lies in plants, herbs, stones, and their true qualities. For nought so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Nor out so good, but strange from that fair use, results from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice being misapplied, and vice sometimes by action dignified. Within the infant mind of this weak flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this being smelt with that part cheers each part. Being tasted, slays or scented with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still, as man as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where the worser is predominant, for soon the canker death eats up that plant. Good morrow, father! Oh, benedicite, what early tongue so sweet saluteth me. Young son, it argues a distempered head, so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps its watch in every old man's eyes, when where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliness doth me assure that thou art uproused with some distemperature. Or if not so, then here I hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight. The last is true, the sweeter rest was mine. God pardon sin. Wast thou with Rosaline? With Rosaline, my ghostly father? No, I have forgot that name, and name's woe. That's my good son, but where hast thou been then? I'll tell thee ere thou askest me again. I have been feasting with mine enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me, that by my wounded Both are remedies within thy help and holy physics lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for my intercession likewise stays my foe. Be plain, good son, rest wholly in thy drift. Riddling confession finds, but riddling shrift. Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet, as mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine, by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed and made exchanges of vow, and I tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today. Holy Saint Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, that thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies not truly in their heart, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a dear love bride! Have thou watched thy shallow cheeks for Rosaline, and how much salt water thrown away in haste to season love that of it doth not taste? The sun not yet their sighs from heaven clears, thy old groans in my ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If ever thou wast thyself, and thou's woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. Thou chidest me oft for loving Rosaline, for doting, not for loving pupil mine, and badst me bury love, not in a grave to lay one in, another out to have. I pray thee chide me not. Her I love now, doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so. Oh, she knew well thy love did read by rote that could not spell. But come, young waverer, come, go with me. In one respect thy assistant be. For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancour to pure love. Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste. Go wisely and slow. They stumble that run fast. I actually really like that scene. Love that scene. Okay, now we come to Act 2 and Scene 3. No product placement this time. Okay, now we enter Benvolio and Mercutio, wondering where Romeo has been. Okay, so now we start with Mercutio. Where the devil should this Romeo be? Come he not home tonight? Not to his father's. I spoke with his man. Why, that same pale heart-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad. Tybalt, the kinsman to old Capulet, has sent a letter to his father's house. A challenge on my life. Romeo will answer it. Any man that can write may answer a letter. Nay, he will answer the letter's master, how he dares, being dared. Oh, alas, poor Romeo, he is already dead, stabbed with a white wench's black eye, run through the ear with a love song. The very pin of his heart's cleft with the blind bow boy's butt shaft. Oh, and he is a man to encounter Tybalt. Why, what is Tybalt? More than prince of cats. Oh, he's the courageous captain of compliments. He fights as you sing prick song, keeps time, distance, and proportion. He rests his minim rest. 1, 2, and the third in your bosom. The very butcher of silk button. A duelist, a gentleman of the very house. The first and second course. The immortal Passato, the Ponto Reverso, the hay. The what? The pox of such antic lisp and affecting fantasines. These new tuners of accent. Jesu, a very good blade, a very tall man, a very good whore. Why is this not a lamentable thing, grandsire, that we should thus afflicted with these strange flies, these fashion mongers, these pardomies who stand so much a new form, that they cannot sit at ease on the old bench? Oh, their bones, their bones. Now, enter Romeo. Here comes Romeo, here comes Romeo. Without his roe, like a dried herring, oh flesh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Now is he for the numbers that Petrarch flowed in. Laura to his lady was a kitchen wench. Marry, she had a better love to berhyme her. Dido a dowdy, Cleopatra a gypsy, Helen and Hero, Hildings and harlots. This thee, a grey eye or so, but not to thy purpose. Signor Romeo, bonjour. There's a French salutation to your French law. Oh, you gave us the county fairly last night. Good morrow to you both. What counterfeit did I give you? The slip, sir, the slip. Can you not conceive? Pardon, Mercutio, my business were great in such a case as mine. A man may strain courtesy. That's as much as to say, such a case as yours constrains a man to bow in the hams. Meaning to curtsy. Thou hast most kindly hit it. A most courteous exposition. Nay, I'm the very pink of courtesy. Pink for flower. Right. Why, then is my pump well flowered. Sure, wit, follow me this just now till thou hast worn out thy pump, and when the single soul of it's worn, the jest may remain after the wearing soul. Oh, single soul jest, solely singular for the singleness. Come between us, good Benvolio, my wit faints. Switch and spurs, or I'll cry a match. Nay, if our wits run the wild goose chase, I am done. For thou hast more of the wild gooses in one of thy wits than I am sure I have in my whole 5. Was I with you there for the goose? Nay, good goose, bite not. Thy wit is a very bitter sweetie. It is a most sharp sauce. And is it not then served into a sweet goose? Oh, here's a wit of cheverel that stretches from an inch narrow to an ell broad. I stretch it out for that word broad, which added to the goose proves the far and wide a broad goose. Why, is not this better now than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable? Now art thou Romeo? Now art what thou art, by art as well as by nature, for this drivelling love is like a great natural that runs lowering up and down to hide his bauble in a hole. Oh, stop there. Oh, thou desirest me to stop in my tail against the hair. Thou wouldst else have made thy tail large. Oh, thou art deceived. I would have made it short, for I was come to the whole depth of my tail, and meant indeed to occupy the argument no longer. Now, enter nurse and Peter. Oh, here's a goodly gear, a sail. Oh, two, a shirt and a smock. Peter? Anon. My fan, Peter! Oh, good Peter, to hide her face, for her fan's the fairest face. God ye good morrow, gentlemen. God ye good fair gentlewoman. His bawdy hand of the dial is now upon the prick of noon. All out upon you! What a man are you! Oh, one gentle woman that God hath made himself to mar. Oh, by my troth, it is well said for himself to mar, quoth a gentleman. Can any of you tell me where I may find the young Romeo? I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you have found him than where he was when you sought him. I am the youngest of that name, for fault of a worse. You say well? Yea, is the worst well for well took, in faith, wisely. Wisely. If you be he, sir, I desire some confidence with you. Oh, she will invite him to some supper. Oh, aboard, 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 Soho! What hast thou found? No hare, sir, unless a hare, sir, in a Lenten pie, that is something stale and or it be spent. An old hare horse or an old hare whore is a very good meeting. Lent, but a hare that is whore is too much for a school when it whores here, it be spent. Romeo, will you come to your father's, will to dinner thither? I will follow you. Farewell, ancient lady, farewell, lady, lady, lady. Lady. Exit Mercutio and Bevolio. I pray you, sir, what saucy merchant was that was so full of his ropery? A gentleman, nurse, that loves to hear himself talk and will speak more in a minute than he will stand to in a month. And speak anything against, I'll take him down, and I were lustier than he is, and 20 such Jackson if I cannot, I'll find those that shall. Scurvy knave, I am none of his flirt gills, I am none of his skeins, mate, and thou must stand by too, and suffer every knave to use me at his pleasure. I saw no man use it at his pleasure. If I had, my weapon would quickly have been out. I warrant you, I dare draw as soon as another man. If I see occasion in a good quarrel, and the law's on my side. Oh. Now, afore God, I am so vexed that every part about me quivers. Scurvy knave. Pray you, sir, a word, and as I told you, my young lady bid me inquire you out, and what you bid me say I will keep to myself. But first let me tell you, if you should lead her in a fool's paradise, as they say, it were a very gross kind of behaviour, as they say, for the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal trouble with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman, and very weak dealing. Nurse, commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protest unto thee. Good heart, and faithful will tell her as much. Lord, she will be a joyful woman. What wilt thou tell her, nurse? Thou dost not mark me. I will tell her, sir, what you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentleman-like offer. I'll bid her devise a means to come to shrift this afternoon, and there she shall, at Friar Lawrence's cell, be shrived and married. Here is for thy pains. Oh, no, truly, sir, not a penny. Go to, I say you shall. This afternoon, sir. Well, she shall be there. And stay, good nurse, behind the wall, where my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords made like a tackled stair, which to the high top gallant of my joy must be my convoy in the secret night. Farewell, be trusty, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell. Commend me to thy mistress. Oh, now God in heaven bless thee. Hark you, sir. What sayest thee, my dear nurse? Is your man's secret? Did you never hear say, two may keep counsel, putting one away? I warrant thee, my man's as true as steel. Well, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady. Oh, Lord, Lord. When 'twas a little prating thing, there was a nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lie knife abroad. But she, good soul, had as lief see a toad, a very toad, as see him. I anger her sometimes and tell her that Paris is the prosperer man, but I'll warrant you, when I say so, she looks as pale as any clout in the versal world. Doth not Rosemary and Romeo begin both with a letter? Highness, what of that? Both with an R. Oh, a mocker! That's the dog's name. R is the... Oh, no, I know it begins with some other letter. And she hath the prettiest and tensiousest of it, of you and Rosemary, and it would all do you good to hear. Commend me to thy lady. and exit Romeo. I 1,000 times, Peter, none, before and apace. Now we come to Act 2, Scene 4. And actually, this is another one of my favourite scenes. It's okay, when we're performing, every time we go backstage, we usually have a drink of water. So basically in this scene, we're now coming to the Capulet house where Juliet is waiting for the nurse to give her news. And of course, you imagine Juliet is getting quite impatient at this stage. The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. That's not so. Oh, she is lame, and love's herald should be forced, which 10 times faster glides than the sun's beams, driving back shadows over long hills. Therefore do nimble pinioned doves draw love, and therefore have the wind swift Cupid's wings. Now is the sun upon the hindmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 long hours, and yet she has not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be as swift in motion as a ball. Oh, my words should bandy her to my sweet love, and this to me. But old folks, many faint as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and as pale as lead. Oh God, here she comes. Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy man away. Peter, stay at the gate. Oh, now, good sweet nurse, Lord, why lookest thou sad? Though news be sad, yet tell them merrily, if good thou shouldst the music of sweet news, but play it to me with so sour a face. Oh, I am a-weary, give me leave a while. Oh, fie, how my bones ache. What a jaunt, can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath? How art thou out of breath, when thou hadst breath to say that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale that thou excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either, and I'll stay the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad? Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a ram. Romeo? No, not he. Though his face be better than any man's, yet his legs excel all men's. A hand and a foot and a body. Though they be not to be talked on, he is not the flower of courtesy, but I'll warrant him as gentle as a lamb. What? Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What? Have you dined at home? No, but all this I did know before. What says he of our marriage? What of that? Oh, Lord, how my head aches. What a head have I. It beats as it would fall in 20 pieces. Oh, my back. Oh, t'other side. Oh, my back. Oh, beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my Jeff with daunting up and down. In faith, I am sorry that thou art not well. Sweet nurse, tell me what says my love. Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous, and a kind, and a handsome, and I warrant a virtuous. Where's your mother? Where is my mother? Why, she's within. Where should she be? Oh, oddly thou replies, your love says, like an honest gentleman. Where's your mother? Oh, God's lady dear, are you so hot? Oh, marry, come up, I trow. Is this the poultice for my aching bones? Oh, ow. Oh, henceforward, do your messages yourself. Oh, here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo? Have you got leave to go to Shrift today? I have. Then hie you hence to Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Oh, now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. Oh, there'll be scarlet straight at any news. Hie you to church. I must another way to fetch a ladder by the which your love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil in your delight, but you shall bear the burden. Soon at night, go, all to dinner, hie you to the cell. Oh, hie to good fortune, hie to high fortune, honest nurse, farewell. Oh, ah. So now we come to Act 2, Scene 5, Romeo and Friar Lawrence. So smile the heavens upon this holy act, that after hours with sorrow chide us not. Oh, amen, amen. But come whatsoever can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love devouring death do what he dare, it is enough I may call her mine. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder when they kiss, consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore, love moderately. Long enough doth so, too swift arise, as tardy as too slow. Enter Juliet running in. Oh, ah, here comes the lady. Oh, so light her foot would never wear out the everlasting flint. A lover may bestride the gossamers that hide in the wanton summer air, and yet not fall so slight is vanity. Oh, good even to my ghostly confessor. Oh, Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for us both. As much to him, else his thanks too much. Oh, Juliet, if the measure of thy joy be heat like mine, and that thy skill be more to blazon it, then sweeten with thy breath this neighbour air, and let rich music's tongue unfold the imagined happiness that both receive in either by this dear encounter. Conceit more rich in matter than in words, bags of his substance, not of ornament. They are but beggars that count their worth, but my true love is grown to such excess I cannot sum up some of half my wealth. Come with me, and we shall make short work. For by your leaves you shall not stay alone, till Holy Church incorporate two in one. And here endeth Act 2. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you have any questions about the act, or indeed the play in general, then just leave some comments, and certainly do best to answer as best as we can. So join me tomorrow, hopefully at 2 o'clock. There isn't any more little technical difficulties. And we go then on to Act 3. Now, of course, Act 3 is when everything starts to go pear-shaped. So join me tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and fare thee well. Yes, I am sure I went to end the stream. Goodbye.